Hi guys and welcome for a new video update of the Artist Way project. This is an update for today, actually for day 8 and 9, because nothing much happened. I did my morning page and basically that's it. So that's the beginning of week 2, and I should be reading the second chapter. So the second chapter, let me check it out here with you. Recovering a sense of identity. So it's about going sane, poisoning people, and like people who make you crazy. So I think it's like, I haven't read all of it, but it's a lot. I think it talks a little bit of like gaslighting, the way I see it, like, and how you actually also make yourself crazy. So I need to finish reading that. But yeah, I think it's going to be a little bit like helpful in a way. Like, I think it's going to summarize what I've been doing before starting the Artist Way. Like, I was watching a lot of video about narcissistic people, and I think this book also covers it a little bit in that chapter. So when I'm done, like when I'm finished reading it, I'm gonna explain to you a little bit more in detail what I think about it. I want to have like a complete vision of it before I just jump into the conclusion. But this past 2 days, so this is a 2-day update, because first of all I didn't do any exercise for the Artist Way. I haven't even finished my reading. I was reading Game of Thrones, which I think is a lot more entertaining. Non-fiction is always difficult for me to read, so I think it's, I don't know if it's the way they write it or if it's the topics, but non-fiction, I always think like it's a bit boring for me. It has no story, basically. I think that's one of the main points. There is no story. Like, I mean, if I read a paper, a physics paper, that's a lot more interesting because I know how it's going to develop. Like, I know there's an introduction, and then you have like the research, how to do something, and then you have like the result, so you see how it works, and then you have the conclusion. So, and it's shorter generally than the book, so it's a lot easier, and actually you learn something. Like, when I'm reading this book, they have like little anecdotes hidden into the text. It's like they're going to give you, like they're telling you, oh yes, this works because yeah, yeah, yeah. And then they have like an example of a person it works for. And for me, it's always a little bit difficult to take into account, because yeah, it's a nice story for a paragraph or two, but it's also like what I'm gonna call an example of one, which means, and it's also like an experiment of one. It's like, if you want to know if something works, like for like with food or with psychology or with that kind of thing, like they always have a panel of people and they do the test on some people, and they sort of like compare people, like even in medicines, like they compare people who took the medicine with people who didn't take the medicine, or people who took a placebo style thing. And in book like this one, it's not even a big panel. They show example of one person. So that one person had this problem, and they did the morning way that are part of it, and they turned out as not having that problem anymore. And it's, for me, it's, that's what I call an example of one, because it's just one person. And it's like, if you want to know if something is going to work for you, you should try it. You just do it, see if it works, and then you can decide. And because everyone is so different, sorry for my voice, guys. I've been feeling a little bit sick the past 2 days, that's why I didn't advance so much. So my voice is still a little bit like a frog. So anyway, so let me continue what I was saying. Yeah, if you want to know what it works, because you need to test it for yourself. So I'm going to show you the example of that person for who it worked. But because everyone is so different, there is no reason why it would work for you, especially because what you have to go through when you do your affirmation, the thing people say to you, the thing you did with your life, your skill set, everything is going to be different. So I'm not sure the results are going to be the same for everyone. Like I said before, when in my conclusion for week 1, like my affirmation, like I entered a new group at the end of week 1, and people are sharing their affirmation, and they had the same kind of affirmations that you could find in the book. And my affirmation were so different. And because I know the affirmation in the book are probably good for some people, but for me it's like a lot of pretty words that don't really mean anything at all. It's like I feel it's like so over the top and so not precise for my own purpose. And like it's a little bit hard to go through. So anyway, uh, when I'm done reading, like I'm probably going to finish reading the second chapter for day 10. So on my day 10 uh, video, I will like tell you exactly what I like about that chapter and what I don't like about that chapter. And hopefully tomorrow I'll be able to start on exercises too, so I'm gonna like test out the exercise for you. But I guess because you're not me, you probably have to test it for yourself and see what happens. Because like I know that person who wrote a book helped a lot of people, but since we have like example of one every time, it's like anecdotal, and it's a little bit difficult for me to like accept anecdotal evidence. I guess as a scientist in me, I need like numbers. Yeah. So anyway, guys, that's all for today. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think about chapter 2. We can discuss that like for the next video if you want. Like if you tell me what you think, and then I'm gonna finish reading it, and then I'm gonna compare, and I can actually like tell you why I don't think the same you think, or why I think the same thing you do. So yeah, that can be fun if you want. So just let me know what you think in the comment section below, and have fun whatever you're reading. See you next time for something else. Bye!